Welcome back. This is part two. In part one, which I've got a link to right here if you haven't seen it, we've covered how to produce the box. In this one, we're going to talk about how to nail them together. This has saved me hours, and it still produces a really good quality box. So stick around and we'll put some boxes together. All right, so here we are. We've got fronts and backs, side and side. So now it's just a matter of keeping the pair together. And in this situation, it's important to make sure that the letters are faced correctly to the outside. Because if that gets to the inside, things are going to be an issue. With the carves, I'm going to put the downside to the out. And with the letters, I'm going to put the upside to the out. So they should stay color coded together, back to back, front to front. So originally I was clamping them and going through a whole rigmarole there. What I've realized is if I just kind of line them up, get them close, I can hit that using a 1-inch staple or 1-inch brad nail, 18 gauge brad nail. Some of them, sometimes there's a little bit of something there and it doesn't hold together well enough. So at that point in time, I will give it a little bit of an incentive to come together. And this is just that piece of wood that's split right there. And that just takes a little bit extra time. Want to make sure to keep my fingers out of range of the nail. I haven't been hit yet, but the board was bowed a little, so it was pulling there. So I just put an extra nail in there to make sure it doesn't pull apart. It is interesting that I start on the one that's given me the most trouble. Turn that video on and that's the way it's going to go, isn't it? One thing I normally do is try and make sure that I'm keeping the cut sides together, and I'll put those on the letter side normally. So I've got this set. So here it's 5 1/4, here it's 5, and here's a 16th under 5, and here's quarter under 5. So that's going to come in handy when we get to that. Okay, I've cut these down for the insides of the top. So these are just a loose fit. So they don't have to be exactly centered in the top. I started cutting them already. I've just got a few left to cut. And next is the top of the box, or the lid. For the lid on these, I like to go the width. I'm going to take a piece, put it across like that, so it's a little bit bigger that way. I want to make it about a 1/4 inch bigger or longer than this, so I'm going to use this for a spacer. And secure that down. Don't have to cut these down because we want them as wide as possible. Got those cut, time to assemble. So these ones, I try and look at which way the crown is and do crown up. So when I put them together, I'm going to crown down. Just eyeball center that. Drops on and off pretty easily. It does have a little bit of play, but that's all right. You don't have to worry about fighting it on or off. All right, so I've started tacking the tops, these stems on the lids. What I did with these is I cut them out with the CNC. I put 12 on a board. And when I did these batches, I left tabs on so they wouldn't get kicked up. These tabs have turned out to be a total pain. Before, I'd have a couple of them kick up and get marred where I'd have to sand them down. With tabs, I have to sand every single one of them down. On top of that, I've got to separate them from So now I've just got the little remnants of the tabs left. And I'm going to go hit those on the spindle sander. So I'll be right back. I don't need this anymore. So that probably adds another 45 seconds per box of extra work, just to leave those tabs in there. Whereas if I didn't do the tabs, it would add 45 seconds worth of work to the ones that were damaged by the spindle. I do offset these a little bit. If you notice, I'm not centering them perfectly. And the reason for that being is I've designed these stems. Somebody wanted taller stems, so I went and redesigned them. And they fit in the box just perfect, just perfectly. if I put them a little bit to the front, or a little bit to the back rather, they'll drop right in there. And that makes them so much easier to handle, so much easier to deal with than having a lid that is separate from the box. All right, thanks for watching. By this point, you've seen the faster, easier way I've done this. At this point, I've been making box skins for about a month and a half, and I've produced over 100 of them. I sell the single-sided ones for $15 and the double-sided ones for $20. There is decent profit margin in there as long as you're keeping the production speeds up. I've got a lot of happy customers out there, and hopefully you're able to take what you've learned here and make a lot more happy customers. We'll see you in the next video.